So you guys also host your own podcast called Monday Morning Coffee, and you
Yeah.
just released the first episode of season 2. I saw that.
Yes.
So could you talk about what the premise of your podcast is and how the idea for it came about?
Sure. So, Monday Morning Coffee, and we capitalize the MO for motivating operation, is we kind of wanted it to be the motivating operation to start your week, right? Sunday or the weekend.
Could you just explain what motivating operation is for people who don't know?
Sure. So it's kind of increases the value of something, right? If we're talking about an establishing operation, which is what we wanted to do, was increase the value of Monday mornings. Because for a lot of people, they go to bed on Sunday already dreading, for some people, the fact that Monday morning or the next day is a work day, or if they're burnt out or they're dealing with really severe behaviors, that they don't really have someone in their corner or someone to talk about it, or they feel that they're the only one who is experiencing this, or the guilt around feeling, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. And at least for me and Christina, we had been experiencing this. And fortunately enough, I had Christina. We would have scheduled talks, unscheduled talks where we would kind of just vent with one another, things that we were experiencing in the field, whether we heard about, saw, things that we felt uncomfortable with. And then it kind of clicked where it was like, maybe this is something where if we express what we're feeling, we can help other people on any scale. Like, even if it was one person who was like, thank you for making me feel like I am not alone, or I am also experiencing this, game changer. Like, I just thought, like, there's no way that we're the only ones who are feeling this. And it kind of just went from that, wanting others to feel included, kind of building this community of collaboration, of support, of mentorship, of not feeling judged. If sometimes you say something to a supervisor, and if it's kind of just that professional relationship, you kind of hesitate because you're like, I don't want them to think that I don't love my job or that I don't want to be here. I do, but there's days where, guess what? My cup isn't at 100% full. And if I tell this person this, are they going to have this different perception of me? So we wanted to kind of build this community where you don't have to think twice. I am a BCBA. I also experience this. I do not know all things, and you are not alone. And just hearing other people's story and having people tell us different topic ideas that they are feeling, honestly, is just like, wow. It really is just something that I'm super passionate about, that I hope continues, whether it's with us or other people kind of building their own thing. And honestly, just building that dialogue, whether it's through the podcast or just having people engage in these conversations within their work environment, with their therapist, with their supervisor. I hope we get to the point where they can be vulnerable and transparent and tell their therapist how they're feeling. But that was kind of the basis behind it.
Yeah, pretty much what Natalie said. And we wanted to build something that were for therapists. I think a lot of times in the ABA field, it's like something that's unspoken until it's super bad and you're about to quit, All the time we hear of people getting to their breaking point, having a huge wall of just being so burned out for weeks at a time. And they talk about these things and they just get to a point where, like, I'm leaving the field. And these are great clinicians. And I think for us is that we kept feeling these things, but no one was really talking about it. And we would talk about it kind of with our friends, but also we were home based at the time. So we didn't really get to interact with our coworkers a lot of the time, unless we were in the office. And if we did interact with coworkers, it was our supervisor. And when you're just starting out in the field, I mean, you don't want to tell your supervisor, I'm not confident. Same thing what Natalie said. So I think, back to what Natalie also said, we wanted to start this ABA community and just be there for supervisors and therapists as well, and let them know, like, hey, you're not alone. People think about this all the time. People have these feelings. It's okay to be scared of Monday. It's okay to get those Sunday scaries, but it's not okay to stay there. It's not okay to be in that position for a long time. So we talk about this ABA community and reaching out and getting support and getting help, because the field has such a high percentage of burnout. It's pretty crazy. And it's also crazy because we have all these tools, self-management and things that we can use, but we also need support. We need help from friends, So I'm really happy that we started this and we're getting all this feedback from people pretty much all around the world, listening in and telling us, like, hey, thank you so much for talking about this, because I went through this too, and it makes me feel supported and validated, in what I'm feeling.
Yeah, and you cover a wide range of topics too, from the need for post-certification supervision and
Mm-hmm.
the stress of managing complex caseloads and to what it's like to date a behavior analyst, where
Yeah.
you brought Natalie's boyfriend on your show to talk about his perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was really important for us because when we were thinking
Mm-hmm.
about topics in the beginning, and we didn't want it to be because at first it felt like, oh my gosh, everything was negative, or we're these pessimistic behavior analysts who just have negative things to say about the field.
Yes.
But it's things that we actually go through, right? You start dating someone, they're like, oh, are you analyzing my behavior? Or not really understanding like what we go through. I see 8 clients in one day. When I get home, like I need a lot of attention. I need someone to validate what it is that I'm going through. I need to be able to talk about what my day looked like without invading, without compromising HIPAA and things like that, and having my partner understand that. So I think that was super, all these topics that people probably didn't even know they needed to hear being talked about.
Yeah, we like to be a little bit controversial and bring things up that people don't really talk about all the time, But we also like to have different perspectives, We like to grow with our podcast. And we always say, if you don't agree with us, let us know. If you have a different side, let us know, because we want to grow and we want to understand different views of things too.
Yeah, what are your plans for season 2?
So much.
Yeah.
Can you share any? Is it without spoiling anything?
I think our biggest thing is listening to our viewers. So doing a lot of Q&As, seeing what they want our topics to be about. And then also diversity. So having people from different parts of the world. So our listeners or people in the States can see what ABA is like in other parts of the world. Like our first guest, holistic behaviorist. Who would have ever thought, right? A holistic behaviorist? What are you guys talking about? That, right? Like maybe it's something you didn't even know. We talked about the having a wellness coach or having a BCBA be a wellness coach. So offering things that aren't necessarily always talked about in the world so that our listeners are getting this knowledge that they might have not received or known of had it not been for our podcast. And then also more controversy. We
like to push the boundaries.
Yeah, just because again, those are those like topics where you don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about in a workplace environment or with your supervisor, but they're thoughts that you have where, am I doing this? Should I be doing this? Is this okay? I know that this is what I was taught, but I don't feel comfortable. So a lot more of those topics, whatever it may be, and listening to our listeners, our everyday experiences. So if something new happens to us or we're like, ooh, this would be a great topic because I'm sure it's happened to somebody else.
Yeah, I think also too is I think sometimes with ABA, where you live and where you work, I kind of feel like you get in a bubble. Like Miami is a very big ABA bubble. We're kind of a little bit sheltered. And SkillCorps actually taught me that when I went to New York for a training before the trip, where I met all these people in the field from California, from Virginia, from North Carolina, from Texas. And they all had different things going on and different aspects of working in the field. And I didn't know that. I didn't know a lot of things, and even, in all across the world. So I think having the podcast and having different people on, like the holistic behavioralist is from Delaware, talking about her experiences, it's going to help people grow and understand the field better.
Yes. Well, definitely keep up the good work, ladies. Our field needs more voices like yours to hang out with on Monday mornings. You've been watching Autism Knows No Borders. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also, we'd love to hear from you, so let us know what you think in the comments section. Click here to watch this interview in its entirety. You can also find us on your favorite podcast app. Tune in each week for engaging conversations of how people across the globe are inspiring change and building community. Thanks for watching. Take care.